Now that you say it, we got tons of rain here in Jacksonville this winter. It's just been weird altogether. It's been hasn't been your typical winter. Afternoon walk. I'll be doing that later. Cool. We'll give it about another minute. See if we have any other attendees that might be joining in late. I am going to do a little trivia today, as usual. Get the brain juices flowing. See where everybody's heads are at. We did do a presentation, James. I think it was late November. We talked a little bit about business associate agreements. I actually had our one of our co-founders on that presentation, and who again subject matter was business associate agreements. Today we're going to be touching on it just briefly, but really I wanted to. I know you missed last week's presentation. We sort of talked about leveraging compliance resources for training for your staff. And we did a little bit of showcase on how EPICompliance can help out with providing a training platform. So today, I figured we sort of do the same thing. Talk a little bit about business associates, and then sort of go through how EPICompliance, you can use our EPICompliance tool to leverage your business associate tracking and management. I see James, I don't see your friend at the moment. I got Carol in here. Patricia, welcome to the party. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. So guys, I'm going to go ahead and share screen. If you could, just give me a 1 in the chat. I don't have a co-host today, so just give me a 1 in the chat if you can see screen. And we're going to start off doing our usual compliance trivia. As mentioned, just put a 1 in chat if you can see my screen. Awesome. So today's a trivia question. I try not to make this one tricky. But again, today's topic, we're going to be talking a little bit about leveraging resources, in particular regarding business associate agreement management and tracking. So I wanted to make this trivia question based around the same. So the question for today is, which of the following is not true regarding a business associate agreement? Is it A, oops, let me let me get to the next slide. Is it A, it is required between a covered entity and business associate if PHI will be shared between the two? B, it is written assurance that a business associate will appropriately safeguard PHI they use or have disclosed to them from a covered entity. C, defines the obligations of a business associate. And D, is optional depending on the types of patient health information received. Again, which of the following is not true regarding a business associate agreement? Please feel free to put your answer in chat. We'll give it another 20 seconds. Carol put her answer in. Dr. Shaw, welcome to the webinar. Appreciate you. Hey, glad to have you on here. Patricia and James say D or C. So again, I'll read the question again. Which of the following is not true regarding a business associate agreement? The answer is actually D. It is optional depending on the types of patient health information received. In reality, it is not optional. You know, if you are subcontracting a vendor that is, again, you're transmitting patient health information, whether they're receiving, storing, or transmitting, there is no option, or there is no option. You want to have a business associate agreement in place. So the answer is D. Appreciate you guys participating in that. And we'll go ahead and dive into today's presentation. Give me just a second. I'll get it pulled up and we'll get started. Again, guys, I don't have a co-host. Just put a 1 in the chat if you can see the presentation. Awesome. Awesome. So, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for another episode of our compliance step-by-step webinars. My name is Ray Walters. I will be your host for today's session. Thrilled to have you all here. Before we dive into the specifics, I just want to give you guys just a brief background of EPICompliance. As many of you may know, compliance in healthcare is paramount, especially when it comes to protecting patient health information. EPICompliance was established in 2013, and we have been the forefront for developing compliance training solutions for healthcare organizations, healthcare students, and business associates alike. Our goal is simple. We want to help our customers maintain a compliant establishment and avoid unnecessary fines. For those of you that are returning, and those of you that are joining here new, we've also founded EPI Conferences. I'm going to post a link to the site here in chat. This is an in-person conference that we've been hosting, I believe, since 2015, where the premise is around healthcare innovation and compliance, and in particular, one of the trainings that we've hosted there, one of the certification courses that we've hosted there is a certified HIPAA security officer training. And this is a certification that dives deep into HIPAA, the physical, the administrative, the technical safeguards. This is a certification that we recommend to any business owner, any compliance officer, any administrator, any healthcare student that's looking to get an edge in the market regarding compliance. And this is a course that we are going to be offering here online very soon. I actually just got informed by the team that there's 10 chapters in this online course, and we just wrapped up chapter 9, so we're very close to getting to the end of this. If that's something that you guys are interested in, just keep in mind we will be sending some correspondence out regarding this. I know last week somebody had asked price points. Don't have that established yet, but we will get an answer on that soon. But just stay tuned. We'll be sending some more information out on that in that regard. But anyways, let's dive into today's presentation. This is just what we're going to be discussing. Understanding, and again, we've for those of you that are just joining, we have done a separate presentation in the past talking about business associate agreements, but today's sort of presentation, I want to give you guys perspective on how EPICompliance leverages business associate agreement tracking and management. But we want to understand the significance of business associates agreements, and we want to understand why they're crucial and important, and obviously, potential ramifications if you don't have business associate agreements in place. So again, for those of you that don't know, business associate, to simply put, are individuals or organizations that handle patient health information on behalf of covered entities or other business associates. In this slide, I just listed out just some common examples of business associates, data storage companies, including cloud service providers, data processing or management companies, e-practice or practice management software is probably going to be your most common one, especially in healthcare. Everybody's using a EHR or EMR system, e-prescribing gateways, managed service providers or IT support, medical device manufacturers, clearinghouses, healthcare consultants, medical billing and coding, companies, medical waste services, and shredding and mobile shredding services as well. One that I did not list that I would consider a common from what I've seen dealing with customers is 1099s or independent contractors. So if you're an organization that, again, and what defines an independent contractor, they're 1099. They're not a W-2 employee. This could be a medical assistant, another provider, perhaps. What defines them as a business associate is the fact that, you are contracting them or subcontracting them, and you're giving them access to your patient health information, your systems, etc. Again, they're not a W-2 employee. You want to consider them a business associate as well. So let's talk about the importance behind business associate agreements. Not only are they federally mandated under HIPAA regulations, but they're also essential for safeguarding your organization's reputation. Um, Again, and long story short, you have to have these agreements in place. It is required by the federal government. Breaches in compliance can lead to severe consequences, including financial penalties, damage reputation to your business, and also legal action. Let's go to the next slide. Again, not to instill any fear for anybody, but this is information that I did get from the CMS.gov site. And really, I just want you guys to understand the potential penalties for noncompliance for these sorts of violations. And again, these fines can range for for unawareness of violations to significant penalties, which include willful neglect. I have a short story to share. We had a customer that we recently onboarded. They are a chiropractic group, and um, he was explaining to me, because again, one of the things that we provide through EPICompliance is business associate agreement management, which is something that this organization was really looking to get in place because they currently didn't really have any agreements in place with their current vendors, so they were looking to buff that up. But he shared a story. He had a customer, or not a customer, I'm sorry. He had a friend who was investigated because he did not have any agreements in place. And his sort of category fell under the, if you guys can see top left, the unawareness category. Again, he was simply just unaware that you're supposed to have these agreements in place, and he did not have an agreement in place with his IT company. And there was no sort of breach, thankfully. It was more so of he was investigated. And again, when it comes down to these investigations, a lot of them can be committed at, they can be at random. It's not like they tell you when they're coming in, they just sort of show up at your doorstep. In this case, that's essentially what happened. And they were asking for business associate copies, didn't have them in place with the IT company. So essentially, he had 30 days to correct this, which was great. But if there was any sort of breach, obviously the scary part about it is if there's any sort of breach committed by the IT company, whether systems got hacked, patient information was leaked. Ultimately, it could fall back onto the chiropractor, the covered entity in this situation, who could assume the fines and liability. So, as you can see here, these fines aren't some sort of slap on a wrist. Depending on the situation, they can be up to $55,000 per incident, which, being a smaller business, it's a lot, right? Um, you know, being a smaller practice, that could potentially put you out of business for having, just for something as simple as this. So just wanted to show you this just to sort of give you an idea of the violations that are involved. And oops, what I want to do now, I'm going to stop sharing screen. I want to show you guys sort of how EPICompliance can leverage and provide the tracking of business associate agreements and management. I did create a poll. I want to try to run that poll. Give me just a moment, and we're going to see if it works. Bear with me. I hope you guys can see this. I just wanted just a brief before I share screen and showcase the EPICompliance system. I just wanted to see how you guys are currently managing, keeping track of your business associate agreements. Are you using an online service that's not affiliated with EPICompliance? Are you managing these with your own templates? Are you managing these through a healthcare attorney, perhaps? Are you managing your or are you looking to manage your business associate agreements, or if you're doing any other method to keep track of your business associate agreements? I'm assuming the poll worked because I got one response so far. So right now I manage them manually with my own template. That's okay. I'll give it another 30 seconds. Got a couple of responses. I'm not looking I am not managing my BAAs, currently looking to. Great. Give another 10 seconds. So these are good responses. Like I said, we got a couple that had that manages them with their own templates that they've created. And then I have a few that have said that they're currently not managing their business associate agreements, but looking to. So what I want to do with you guys, I'm going to share my screen again. If you could put a 1 in the chat just to make sure that you guys can see it, that would be awesome. But I want to show you how our EPICompliance tool can help leverage and help manage these business associate agreements and keep track of things. So let me know if you guys can see, just put a 1 in chat. Awesome, awesome. So again, through our EPICompliance platform, we give you the functionality to manage and keep track of your business associate agreements. So the idea of EPICompliance is keeping all your compliance documentation in one place, correct? So again, one of the tools that we offer our customers is allowing them to manage, track their business associates. So what you guys can see here on my screen is what we call our business associate center. And essentially, you see 3 options here. So for those that put the option that you have your own template, we actually give you the ability where if you wanted to use your own template that you've created, you can upload that a template here onto your EPICompliance account. And you can use that template when sending out your agreements. If you guys are familiar with DocuSign, that's essentially what our process is cloned after or modeled after through this process. As I mentioned, you can upload your template here and you can put your electronic signature on that document and you can send it to that individual for a signature. Same case goes to those that are looking for a solution. We give you access to a business associate agreement template. And to simply put it, if you want to send a business associate agreement out to your vendors, your subcontractors, you simply click on use our template. It's pretty straightforward here. You're going to establish who's the contractor, who's the subcontractor. Again, for the most part, you guys are always going to be the contractor if you're a healthcare business or a healthcare organization. Start date, again, this is simply, when are you sending this agreement out? You select the date that you want to send the agreement, etc. And then obviously, whoever you're sending the agreement to, we consider them what we call a business contact. And it all just goes down to, again, who are we sending this agreement to? So if you are looking to send an agreement to your business associate, it will ask you to complete these fields. Obviously, the most important information here is, who's the company or the individual that we're sending this agreement to. So it's going to ask to input their business name. Again, anything that has an asterisk is going to be required. Anything that does not, it's simply icing on the cake. The more information we have here, the better. It's going to ask you what services that the business associate provides. So you can see here, there's a ton of options. If they do a multitude of services for you, you can select multiple options. That's okay. Again, if the business associate does a multitude of things for you, there's multiple options that can be selected. And the primary thing here is, who are we sending this agreement to? Of course, it's going to go to an individual. As I mentioned, this is sort of modeled after DocuSign. So I can say this much: if you're planning on sending this agreement to your practice management software company, obviously there's tons of them out there and a lot of them are very large organizations. It's better to not send the agreement to your sales rep, in other words, because at the end of the day, what's going to happen is, they're going to get the agreement. They're going to bump it up the ladder. In other words, they're not going to sign it. They're going to bump it up the ladder. It's going to end up going to their legal team, and it's just going to prolong the process. So always we suggest, connecting with that practice management software company, speak with the legal team. In most cases, they'll actually have you sign their version of the agreement. If that's the case, that's okay. And you don't have to send them your particular version or the EPICompliance version. Would suggest having that contract reviewed. But ultimately, if you choose to sign their version, all that we would ask is that you upload a copy on EPICompliance, which you will have the option to do so. But like I said, going back to this, whether you plan on sending this to maybe your IT company, again, any of your business associates, it's just like DocuSign. Once you complete these fields, you hit save. It'll ask you to put your electronic signature on the document. Once you have done that, it'll send out to the business associate and it'll go to that individual's email for a signature. Once the business associate agreement is received, again, they're going to have the option to sign the agreement. Once they attest to it electronically, they're going to have a copy for their records, and then a copy is then sent back to your account for your records. So ultimately, what it boils down to, utilizing a system like EPICompliance for leveraging your business associate is we're sort of keeping everything here in one place. I mentioned to you earlier one of our customers' friends that was inspected. They weren't using sort of a service like this. Again, he didn't really know that he needed to have agreements in place. Ultimately, if it comes down to it and you're dealing with inspection, they want to review these contracts. Everything's essentially going to be stored here. The beauty about these business associate agreement as well, there's nothing in the legislation currently, knock on wood, hopefully this doesn't change anytime soon. But once you have these agreements in place, it's really one less thing you have to worry about on the compliance side of things. There's nothing in the legislation that states currently that you have to update these agreements once a year. In other words, once they're in place, they're in place. Now, for example, if you have an agreement in place with your practice management software and you decide to utilize a different service, maybe, one way or another, you didn't like their services that they provide, you want to use a different practice management software, just make sure that you have a new agreement in place with that company. On our system, you have the ability to archive these agreements as well. We don't essentially give our customers the option to delete these agreements because, again, it's important. Like I said, whether you decided to use a different company, that previous business associate agreement is just as important. Why? Because not that it happened, not that I've seen it happen often, but it can. These inspectors, these auditors, they can ask for previous documentation, including these business associate agreements. So on our platform, we don't give you the option to delete, we give you the option to archive, because in that event, we want to make sure that we have that information on file. So again, just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an idea of how things are managed through our online platform. And like I said, ultimately, the goal was to keep all these agreements in one place for our customers, so that in the event, there's agreements or that there's inspection involved, they want to review these contracts, everything's going to be on the EPICompliance system. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. I want to go ahead and open up for just a quick questions and answers, or if you guys want to leave your thoughts on the EPICompliance software. I know some of you guys in here are current customers, so you might be familiar with this process already. One thing I will add as well is if you are an EPICompliance customer in here, you may have received a notification regarding that we will be releasing a new version of our platform here very soon. Yes, we will be. I don't have a definite deadline on that yet, but it's looking to be here in the next, I would say the next 3 weeks, we'll be releasing a new version of EPICompliance. And obviously the goal of this version is to make some of these processes a little simpler. But for now, let me know if you guys have any questions. Please feel free to chime in. We'll open this up for at least a few minutes here. Doesn't have to be compliance related as well. James says, hello, is anyone out there? James, are you a practice manager, a business owner? I'm curious of your position. Are you in healthcare? Are you a healthcare student? I appreciate your participation on the webinars as always. HIV outreach. Interesting. Is it really? What do you think is a contributing factor to that? Dr. Shaw, please feel free to chime in with your opinion as well. That's interesting. I didn't know that. I'll have to get Dr. Headley's opinion on that as well. Carol, you seem quiet. Anything going on? I know you're one of our customers. Do you have your business associate agreements in place? That's awesome. I would assume at this point, if you're using our template, that you have them already on the EPICompliance. But if you were the one that has your own template, I'm not, in case you didn't know, you can use that template on the EPICompliance system as well. Hey, Dr. Shaw, appreciate you. Hey, appreciate you having you on here. We'll certainly have one next Tuesday as well. I think Jose Jr. will be on that one and as my co-host. Topic to be discussed. It's going to be regarding having policies, procedures in place at your practice. So hope to see you on that one. James, I appreciate your time as well. Yeah. Um, yeah, Jose, he's actually I'll spill the beans. He went on a cruise, so he's soaking it in right now. I think he's in the Bahamas, so he's soaking it in. Hey, well deserved though. He works hard, but we definitely look forward to having him back on the next one. It's the power of two, James. When it comes down to these webinars, it's always more engaging having two opinions versus one. It's the power of two. But no Ernie. James, we'll see you on the next one. I'm going to be sending out some correspondence here. And like I said, we'll be talking about, I think the topic next week is going to revolve around policies and procedures and how to keep those in place and implemented, et cetera. So you'll be getting another registration link. In the meantime, be good, be awesome. And we'll see you on the next one. Thank you, guys. Hey, that's a good idea. Some sort of oh, man, we got to think of something. T-shirts or hats, one or the other. Take care, James.